So it's Aniya's fault that she won't explore, but it's also Aniya's fault that KC won't explore. People, to me, sound more stupid than Bryce with this argument. What's up, everybody? Happy weekend. Another episode of Love Island USA to talk about. Another episode that I did not enjoy. These past two episodes have not been fun. So today will probably be a quicker review because, I've not been fond of the last two episodes. I cannot be the only person who feels like we are watching reruns, because that is exactly what Melanie and Sincere's storyline has become. For 3 episodes in a row, it's been the main story, and it's been exactly the same. Is Sincere going to explore and kiss Soul? Yes, he is. Is Melanie going to have a minor or major crash out? Yes, she is. Is Melanie going to try and make it everyone else's problem? Yes, she is. Is Sincere going to lie to Melanie? Yes, he is. But are Sincere and Melanie going to talk things out? Yes, they are. Rinse and repeat. 3 episodes straight. And it's because this storyline has gotten so much airtime, and every other couple's storyline is like so choppy because of it. I'm bored. I am bored, and I know I can't be the only one. And I know we're not going to stop watching yet anyway, because this is like the water cooler talk TV show that people used to talk about. It's a show that we all like to talk about with our friends or online with our significant others. In a society without real communities anymore, it has actually given a sense of community to people again. It is that big of a hit these days. But it would be so much better if producers and editors got their heads out of their asses and gave better edits and made better decisions. So I'm not even going to talk about much with Sincere and Melanie today. You could go back to my last 2 reviews because it was basically the same rerun thing. But I do think Sincere is a big fat liar. But I still think Melanie was rubbing things in Soul's face in this episode, making a show of things, being her usual messy self. I'll get a little into Soul crying and the recoupling later. Let's talk about how stupid-ass Bryce did end up pulling Kayda. He was able to get his humiliation kink done there and get rejected again and get friend-zoned. I should also note, I guess, that Zach was talking to KC about how Bryce would leave Trinity for Kayda in a heartbeat or some shit. And maybe you could chalk it up to Zach was being paranoid, but I think Zach has some weird whole thing with Trinity. I don't know what it is, but that's what it is. And I still think Zach is gay, even though Kayda may have been giving him a hand job in bed in one of the cut scenes that they did. But Zach's eyes were closed, and I'm sure he was thinking about Bryce. Trinity did also talk to Zach too at one point, and Trinity told Zach to his face that she is more and more into Bryce and wouldn't go for her usual type over Bryce. Who knows if Zach will relay that accurate information to Bryce? Probably not, because he wants his man Bryce single and ready to mingle with him. Also, Kayda brought it back to the girls that Bryce pulled her, and Trinity was talking with the girls about how Bryce is too old to be acting the way that he has been acting that day. And I agree. That's what I said in yesterday's review. So Bryce had to try and get back good with Trinity. Bryce apologized, but it was bringing up once again his concerns that what if in 2 weeks her type comes in, and he wanted to be a hypothetical situation. Would she go for her type over Bryce? Bryce does seem to have an insecurity that he is not her type. And I'm glad that Trinity is the one who finally stopped talking around the issue and brought up the fact that they're different races and that maybe they would end up going for different people because of their usual types. She asked him, would he go for a tall brunette that walked in that's similar to Kayda? I think this is what we were supposed to chalk Bryce's spiral up to. He doesn't feel like he is Trinity's usual type, and he's not, and he can be concerned about that. And I think Trinity has the same concerns. clearly she brought up Bryce's type being a tall brunette who seems to be white or white adjacent. I mean, let Bryce's friends tell it. Trinity is his type, but it's not seeming like it with these past 2 episodes. But I do like that this conversation, like, was another real conversation between these two. You know, as someone in an interracial relationship with the black woman, I think I can speak on this because I don't like bringing up the colorism topics because I can't talk about those. I don't have those experiences. I'm just a white guy. But with an interracial relationship, it's both people's experiences. And I'm old. I've dated different walks of life at this point because I think people should connect with people. And obviously, I'm not saying you can't connect with people who are so similar to you because it is probably easier. But just doing it because it's easier is a cop-out. And I feel like those people like restraints and they don't actually have a zest for life. And that's how I feel. Sue me. But when you're young, like Trinity is, and it's something so new and so different, and it's easy to fall back on your usual patterns and your usual types, I think it was, once again, Trinity being so emotionally mature for her age, getting to the heart of the matter that was really going on between her and Bryce. And I think this conversation was important, especially after how much hate and conspiracy theories Nick and Olandria have gotten for a year straight just because they were in an interracial relationship. And there's just no way that they actually like each other. So let's bring up all these different conspiracy theories to prove that. People have had dumb take after dumb take with Nick Olandria for a year and have no shame continuing to be loud and wrong. So it was a good conversation to have. Bryce, whose friends say he's not new to this, shouldn't be spiraling, though, if that was true, because he's not young. He's just not. But there's also the age gap aspect to their relationship, too. So they have different things in this relationship or possible relationship that they really do have to work through. But they are having these conversations. And I think that is why I have been saying that they actually have one of the better connections on the show, because they talk about things that they should be talking about if they are two people really preparing to be in a relationship. Trinity in confessional said she can't stay mad, but he's on thin ice, and she thinks he was being honest, though. Bryce promised he will show it in his actions, but we're going to have to see that first. So until I see Bryce proving it by actions, Bryce is in my hazard bin. Bryce did talk to Zach about it again later. My girlfriend pointed out accurately that Zach is always kicking his feet like a schoolgirl when Bryce is around him, and that was happening yet again. So all in all, with this debacle, I still think Bryce is dumb for the Kayda stuff. I know there's conspiracy theories out there that production made Bryce explore, and he chose Kayda because he knew it would be like a rejection because they're friends, and so I guess he could be like, "Okay, production, there you go. Damn, I did what you asked." But we don't know that for sure. You know, we are doing a lot of speculation, and we have to because the editing fucking sucks. But yeah, I don't feel sorry for Bryce right now. He has work to do to get back on my good side. Not a lot of Aniya and KC. What else is new? Both in this episode talking about being pleased with one another. I'm still getting comments about how it's Aniya's fault that KC can't explore, and I call bullshit because this is what everybody's saying out there. So it's Aniya's fault that she won't explore, but it's also, or that people won't explore her, but it's also Aniya's fault that KC won't explore. People, to me, sound more stupid than Bryce with this argument. It's just blame Aniya. KC has said himself that people shouldn't put their egg in one basket, but he does not explore hard either, which means, to me, KC has chosen where he wants to be for now. And maybe once Casa comes around is when we will finally see drama for this couple. It's happened in the past. Probably will again. Kenzie and Corbin were still having their issues. Aniya had a conversation with Corbin. It was in this conversation that she said that her and KC are good. Corbin was saying things are not good with Kenzie. Aniya is saying that the communication is bad in here. Corbin acting like he is the greatest communicator ever. I mean, maybe he is, since he is AI, as everyone says he is. Meanwhile, Kenzie crying that she's tired about feeling like a second option. But I couldn't get over Kenzie's hypocrisy for these past 2 episodes about how dare Corbin want to kiss someone else and explore when she just explored Caleb and kissed him. Kenzie told Corbin that he has a hard shell and he hides his emotions. He says he hasn't lied to her, though, and she's just talking about how she was hurt and was looking for reassurance. I'm still not feeling Corbin. Sorry, I'm not. And even more pissed with him thanks to production at the end of this episode. The pie game happened. Honestly, it wasn't as juicy as it could have been. The thing that pissed me off most was the girls being dumb with some of their answers, because they chose Zach as the person who's most likely to defend you when you're not in the room. They chose Zach, who has been running down Trinity to the guys for days now. Honestly, Kayda is losing me. I don't like dumb people. I've been saying this about Bryce for 2 episodes now, and I think Kayda is dumb for sticking with Zach. There's nothing real about Zach, and this is reality television. I don't know who Zach is. I don't care either. Kayda is not going to win me over while she's in a relationship with Zach. Don't know what she sees in the guy. She hasn't been getting an edit either, so that doesn't help. She's been less entertaining, but probably producer's faults again. But we're going to see if the girls make Zach their Kendall from 2 seasons ago, when he's just spinning up shit, playing the game. But if he's going to stick around, we have to keep watching Zach. I really hope one of these days one of the girls tells him off about the shit he's doing, like Serena did in season 6. But I fear that the woman that would do that just got eliminated in this episode. The whole likely to break girl code or guy code pie, that's when Zach pied Soul. Soul covered her face. Soul was mad about it. She said she was over the villa. She doesn't think she deserved to get pied for only having, open communication with the one person giving her open communication. But yeah, that made Soul hella emotional. I'm sure she did get pied more than we actually saw. But Kenzie got pied a lot too, and we saw Kenzie get pied a lot, and Kenzie was not nearly as emotional than Soul was here. Maybe Soul is feeling like an outsider, but that's the name of the game when you're a bombshell. You know what I wasn't seeing is people saying, oh, it was just a game. Why is Soul getting so emotional? Oh, Soul is too sensitive. Why is Soul crashing out? Oh, Soul is being so insecure with herself, like Aniya after Aniya got emotional after a challenge, after Casey's joke. Instead, we have conspiracy theories that Soul is getting bullied or something, and I just can't buy it right now, especially after last season. I do think there's obviously things missing with this edit, because the edit is just, they want it to be Melanie and Sincere centric, and that shit's getting really old. I need to see more of Soul before I could really make my opinion on her, though. Anyway, America voted. Caleb with Kenzie, Jen with Gabe, Soul with Sincere. Melanie acting like she's going to end the love triangle now, even though before it was announced that they put Soul with Sincere, Sincere was telling Melanie they'll work through this. But I would like to see Melanie end the love triangle because it's stale. But then what really irked me, and I knew it was happening because the stupid show spoiled their own episode earlier in the day on social media, Corbin got power once again. All of the OG guys have gotten to choose 0 times. Corbin has now chosen twice. And I get why he chose the first time, because he was the bombshell coming in, and that's usually what happens with the bombshells. But now Corbin has had more power than anyone else in this game, and it doesn't make sense. And it's definitely unfair. And that means an end for Bea, because he got to choose between Bea and Melanie. So we lost Bea, who is our one girl not afraid to stand on business. So we're losing future arguments. And we're stuck with the cast not exploring, and a cast that seems afraid of drama overall. And it's probably Melanie's fault, because who wants to seem as toxic like that? But production was always going to think of an unfair way to keep her in because they made her and Sincere the only real storyline. But that storyline's out of gas. So I'm very confused by the production's decision making here. A show like this only works as an ensemble. And I thought the OG cast was a good mix of personalities. But the bombshells, besides Kayda, have all been extremely one note. In their own ways, it's different notes, but it's one note each. And now we're stuck with 6 bombshells and 8 OGs, and it's not giving. And their main storyline is like a rerun right now. So I don't know what they're going to do because Casa has to be at least a week away, if not 2. I don't know how they're going to shake things up. They need to send in their best bombshells they have left. But if it's going to be bombshells that are just one person's type, we're kind of going to be stuck with more of the same. What I think they need to do is an America's vote on couples so that some of the couples can see how low they are and start to panic, because I don't know if anything else is going to shake things up. So we've had 2 rough episodes, in my opinion. Unless you're super duper invested in Sincere and Melanie, I don't know how you could find these last 2 episodes enjoyable. Because to me, it's been the same shit for 3 straight episodes with Sincere and Melanie, and now Soul involved. And I guess Corbin's going to be pulled into this too. But Corbin just has the same exact conversations with everybody. Like if you go back and see his initial conversation with Kayda, and then the conversation with Melanie he had like 2 episodes ago, it was the exact same. He also had a similar conversation with Kenzie that he had with Bea. So we're just seeing rinse and repeat with Corbin too. I am sad to see Bea go. She entertained me. I will be defending her outside of this show if necessary.